I'm going to start off the training today with a question to you, and it's this. When it comes to making money online, what's the best position to be in? Think about that for a second. What position do you want to assume? What position do you want to take? Where do you want to be at when money is changing hands to get the most of it as possible? Put it in your pocket, put it in your bank account, put it in your retirement, put it in your children's education fund, wherever you want to put it, right? What's the best position to be in? I am going to posit to you that maybe, just maybe, the best position is 80% middle person, 20% provider. And you say, huh? Jason, what's that? And it's not exact 80% one or the other. It's majority middle person, minority provider. Let me say it to you this way. Is it better to be the toll booth than it is to be the person who owns the roads? You say, well, what do you mean, Jason? Let me give you some examples. Let's look at the big G, Google. Massive, massive company. Do you know where most of their money comes from? Most of their $66 billion, which was their full year revenue in 2014, which was actually up basically a fifth over the previous year. And do you think it's going to go up in 2015? Yeah, and why do you think it continues to go up and up and up and up? Well, I think we know why, but where did the money come from? Well, here's the cool thing about public companies. They actually have to publish the revenue reports, and the 2014 one closed out at this. Out of all the revenue in Google, that's $66 billion worth of revenue. 89% of it comes from advertising revenues. In other words, basically AdWords and all the stuff that connects through AdWords. YouTube advertising, AdSense, pay-per-click, search results, all that kind of stuff. 11% came from everywhere else. So the other 11%, the $7.26 billion, came from places like the Google Play and the Google Apps and Chromecast, that little thing that you plug into the side, and those mobile phones, those Android-powered devices, those physical products. That's what they provided in terms of products that they sold. But $58.74 billion came from what at the end of the day amounts to uniting advertisers with wallets and web visitors. People who will pay for traffic and the traffic. That's where almost 90% of their money came from. Isn't that crazy? So the conclusion is this. Google is 80% the middle person and only 20% the provider. They make most of their money taking visitors and uniting them with people who will pay for those visitors. Let me give you another example. Let's look at Amazon. So here were their net sales in 2014. I thought they were going to do $100 billion. They didn't quite get there, but they did 88, right? And where did that revenue come from? Well, some of it came from books, music, movies, video games, console software, and digital downloads and other things in that category. Their other categories are electronics and other general merchandise. And the third category that they break down on the revenue report is the Amazon Web Services, advertising services, and those co-branded credit cards. Now, according to Reuters, and this is what's interesting, and Reuters is a very, very prestigious kind of expert at financial advising and understanding what things are worth, Amazon's most profitable and fastest growing segment is likely their web services. It was just under 10% of all the revenue that came in, so they don't have to report it on a revenue report as a public company, but they will in 2015, and we'll see exactly where that comes from. But as far as we can estimate, Google pulls the most amount of money percentage-wise on the profit with the highest amount of growth, not from selling Kindles, not from selling physical products, but from stuff like web services and selling advertising. Third-party sellers, for example, accounted for 40% of the product volume sold on Amazon.com last year. So even on their physical product side, Amazon is only selling 50 cents basically, or 60 cents of the dollar that comes in, and they rely on other people to fill up their store. The conclusion is this. Amazon is 80% the middle person, 20% the provider. Most of their money comes from what? Uniting web visitors with people who will eager and happily pay to be in front of those web visitors, right? What about you? What does this mean for you in 2015 and beyond? And how can you take advantage of this specific position starting today, which is probably the most advantageous position that you could be in? Before I break that down, let me break down some other conclusions to you that I think are valuable for your future financial well-being. Let's start with the first one. Those who can't generate their own traffic pay a premium to those who can. If you cannot systematically, whenever you wish to, generate your own traffic, you will pay somebody else a premium for that opportunity. Would you like to pay more than you have to for anything in business? And hopefully the answer to that is no. Those who can't generate their own traffic pay a premium to those who can. Do you think the premium is going down, or do you think the premium is going up every year online, right? Now here's another one for you. 1,000 chimpanzees with typewriters can, in fact, write a literary classic. What does that mean to online? Well, it's kind of interesting. I'll talk about that in a bit. At the end of the day, there are only 3 ways that you can make money online. Let's break it down and let's make it simple. Products, affiliate marketing, services. When I talk about products, when we refer to products, yes, digital products, stuff like ebooks, video courses, e-classes, membership sites, and so forth, as well as physical products, reseller products, drop shipping, private label products, and so forth. That's one way you can make money. A second way that you can make money is with affiliate marketing. So you can get paid a commission per sale, so 50% on a digital product or 6% on a physical product, or you can get paid a commission for referring somebody to somebody else's service. There's also something called CPA, commission per acquisition, or cost per action, however you want to call it. And these are like pay per lead, pay per call, even pay per zip code, another pay per specific acquisition of data or information. The third way that you make money is basically, at the end of the day, with services, expertise, stuff like coaching, consulting, connections, and so forth, as well as deliverables, delivering services such as website design, SEO, pay-per-click management, reputation management, and on and on and on. Question, which one should you get cash from? Go ahead and type in the answer to that. Of these 3, today, right now, which one should you be most focused on for putting the money in your pocket? And the answer is, of course, all of them. Why not? Especially when you consider this. Can you pull the money in from all 3 sources at the same time? Can you? Well, it's not even if you can. It's how soon will you? Okay? Now, what I'm about to share with you, I feel is so important that I have to properly qualify it first. Because if you see it, you'll say, okay, yeah, that's cool, Jason, and I know you. You look at 100 or 200 or 300 or 400 pieces of information every single day when it comes to your online business. You're constantly opening up emails from all types of email marketers and gurus, some of which that you probably actually make more money than at the end of the day, but who cares about that? You get all this information on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. And if you compare it all to each other on the surface, it might look the same. But that's where you can go wrong, tremendously so, because you might overlook the Picasso for some sort of flea market replicated counterfeit version. On the surface they look the same, but underneath one is super valuable, the other isn't. I believe the information I have to share with you today is life-changing of a magnetic proportion. So I'm going to qualify it with results, which is the best way. And it's the way anybody who's showing you anything or educating you on something or helping you achieve something, that's how they should show it, with results. So how powerful is what I'm about to show you? Well, let's look at this gentleman right here named Daryl Ferguson. Okay, he is 67 years young. When he applied this information starting in March of last year, he began not on ground zero, underneath the ground. Not at zero, at -6 figures. And where is he at currently? $1,500 per day. That's over $50,000 per month. 9 out of the 10 people whose email list you're on that teach you internet marketing stuff do not make that much money per day. And here's Daryl, just starting out at about 66 years old, not a guru, just took this information, applied it, world completely changed. How powerful is this information I'm about to show you? Well, let's look at Stephen Roberts. He started just 48 days ago. And I want you to take a very, very close look at this. $11,500 up front, plus for this particular deal, $8,000 per month for the next 6 months. And look really close if you can see it. When is that check dated? Is that, February 17th of 2013? 2014? I'm not sure. Let me look at my calendar today. I don't even know what the date is today, but it's not that far from the 17th of February, right? It's the 21st, right? This is a guy who just started this year, basically, already this quickly. And I don't actually recommend you plan to get results this quickly, although it's very, very possible. I'm just going to show you how powerful this information is. Take a look at this one. This is Gregory Ortiz, okay? Started this, applying this information, this approach that I'm about to break down to you while working at Bed Bath & Beyond. And I'm going to assume that that wasn't making him a lot of money, right? And at the same time caring for an infant son, and I know how that goes. Now, here's what's really important about this. Nobody in his family has ever made over $30,000 in a single year, and there's $17,000 within 2 weeks. How powerful is this? Here's Michael. Michael's very interesting. He's only 19 years old, started in late 2014. He just hit his first $1,000 day recently. I believe it was this month. He's already generated $42,035 since he started, even though this was his first 1K day. So what does that tell you? And I like this. It doesn't tell you that it was all at once, like a lottery ticket. It was continual, it built upon itself, and it paid off. And I'm sure that's the first of many, many, many. Here's the last one I'll share with you to really preface this. This is a guy named Joshua Fletcher. I call him Fletch. That's what he's known as. I just talked to him on the phone the other day, actually. He's a really, really cool guy. I believe he was making about $20,000 a year when he started. Within 4 months, he was easily doing $10,000 a month. You would not believe how much he's doing now. This picture of him right there talks about the first time he could go on vacation with his kids and not having to worry about a credit card being declined when he swiped it. That's how powerful this information is. This information, flat out, at the end of the day, bottom line, is equipped to do one thing and one thing only. And you know what that one thing is? Make you money. Now let's talk about money. There's two types of money. In this business, there's short-term money, aka push-button money, or push a button and money comes out, okay? There's also long-term money, and I like to think of it like this: things that push buttons for you. So if you want to think about this in your mind, start it off with, could you build a system where you could push a button and money would come out? And then think furthermore, could you then take some of that income that you make, invest it in things that would then push those buttons, plural, for you, right? That's kind of an interesting thought experiment to engage in. So the question is, what should you focus on? Should you focus on the short term? Should you focus on the long term? How much of each should you focus on? Well, the answer is you focus on both, ideally. Ideally, you do both simultaneously. So you're always getting those paydays when they present themselves, but in the long term, you're building a foundation that will continue to build upon itself. But here's my opinion. Take it for what it is. The multi-million-dollar opinion that's qualified. If the money isn't coming in yet, start with the short term. Nothing pains me more than when I'm at a seminar and one of my customers or any internet marketer comes up to me, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, excited. Jason, I finally figured it out. This year it's going to be all different for me when it comes to making money and my financial well-being. I say, okay, how so? And they say, well, I got this plan. Please share it with me, I'd respond. And then they go on and talk about all these complex, insane, crazy things that they have to build and build and build, and hopefully they all play out together, and eventually, many, many, many months from now, it hits for a big payday. And I get scared when I hear that, because I do not build my business around that. And I am about as financially secure as you can be and not be retired. And that's, you know, an option that I have, actually, that I just choose not to engage in. If the money isn't there yet, always think short term. Why? Any money is better than no money. And unfortunately, most of you right now are paying to work. Not getting paid to work, not making anything. You are literally paying money to then go and do stuff. Negative money, okay? So start with the short term. Phase one, push a button, make money. First, let me ask you a question. Does this actually exist? It's 2015. Come on, man. We got to be beyond the days of push button money. Does it really exist, right? It actually does. Second, if it does exist, why is it so hard to do something which seems so easy? Here's the refinement. here's the elusive obvious. There is nothing currently that allows you specifically to actually push a button and make money off the bat. However, if you don't think that every single day I push a button and make money, you got to be kidding yourself, right? And you could find example after example of people online who have set up a system to now it is as easy as pushing a button and making money. So don't tell me it ain't possible. It is possible. But there's certain things that need to be put in place first before that can be accomplished. Okay? And if you lay the right foundation, not only can you push the button and make money, but it will build and grow upon itself. If I had to guess that you don't have your own push-button money system right now, here's what my guess would be. You don't know how to design one properly. Let me solve that for you. Would you like that? Would you like for me to show you how? The commonalities, the key things that are required in every single push-button money system that exists. I sat down with John Rhodes at the beginning of this year when he came and joined our wonderful family at Rapid Crush Inc. And I said, John, let's go back and analyze and find out and pinpoint every single instance where we set up a system to push button and make money. And he says, okay. And then we went through. We spent hours upon this. And when we came back, we said, okay, that we see several different push button systems. Now let's go meta. Let's analyze all the commonalities. Let's engineer it backwards. So then we could, in the future, whenever we decided to, know what a true push-button money system look like. If you analyzed any true blue short-term to immediate cash model that actually works, here are these commonalities. If anything needs to be written down, nay, committed to memory, it's this. A push-button money system must contain the following. A clear, this is how I get money objective. An accuracy to accountability mechanism. Okay? Turn the knob flexibility. And finally, a secret. These four things. We'll start with the first one. A clearly defined money objective. This is how I get the money, right? I want you to compare and contrast these two scenarios. Scenario number one. You say to yourself, I'll create a ton of YouTube videos, get a whole bunch of subscribers, and then I'll make affiliate offers to those subscribers and put those in all my YouTube videos. Therefore, I will make money. On a scale of 1 to 10, how clear is that when it comes to getting the money, specifically? Okay? 1 to 10. Go ahead and type in what you think. How clear is that? Is it very clear? No. Well, I'm getting 1s and 2s, right? Oh, I got a 4 and a 3. Now let's compare the second one. I'll rank a YouTube video, you say, for a local term, email some businesses, and see who wants to lease the video for $500 a month. And then if it works, I can repeat it over and over again. On a scale of 1 to 10, how clear and how easy is it to picture and how well defined is the money objective? How I'll get the money. It's pretty good. Could it be made to be better? Yeah, but it's not bad. Okay? Step number 2. The second component, accountability, an accuracy to accountability mechanism. This is super duper important, okay? I really learned this when I was listening to the great late speaker Jim Rohn, when he says, if there's weeds in your garden, you can't close your eyes and say, there's no weeds in my garden, there's no weeds in my garden. If there's weeds in your garden, you got to pull them out, you got to kill them, right? That's what he says. Accurate understanding of your reality is how you get the breakthroughs, not hope. But unfortunately, what most internet marketers are accountable to is this hope, which was the first example. Would you agree with me? They're just hoping all of those things work out. And in the real world, where bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people, we can't use hope as an accountability mechanism. How about the second one? I'll get my first client within 7 days. How about that? Now you take that first example. I will rank one YouTube video for a local term. I will email businesses who would like to rank for that local term. I will charge them $500 a month to hand that video over to them. And I will do so and have my first paying client within 7 days. Now are we getting closer? Okay? Now we're getting really close to that short term, put something in place that can be made into push-button money, right? And I love push-button money. Flexibility. Let's talk about the third component, turn the knob flexibility. Let me ask you this. Are you starting by building a Titanic or a rowboat? Rowboats can turn on a dime, right? Rowboats can adjust course immediately with very little effort, right? So in the first model, what flexibility is there? Not very much. But in the second model, what types of flexibility could come from making a YouTube video for a local term? Well, let me give you some examples. You can lease it, which is what you might want to start out with. You could say, forget leasing it, I'll generate my own leads and sell those leads, or promote affiliate offers to those leads. You say, hell, if worst comes to worst, I'll sell YouTube video creation services. Is there a market for that? Yeah, if you got down to it and you started over time building these YouTube videos, worst case scenario is you develop skills that other people would pay for, right? And does it lend itself to easily being combined with other types of push button methods to more than double, triple, quadruple your chances of success? I think you would agree with me the second example has more flexibility in terms of course correction, in terms of, oh, new information, new decision type of opportunity than the first one does, which always happens when you get clarity, okay? But wait! Your brain sometimes is your worst enemy. Some of you are saying something along these lines. If it's not exactly this, it's something like this. You're saying, Jason, I don't know how to do what you just said. I don't know how to rank these videos. I don't even know how to create them. And I can't do it quickly. I can't do it in a hit-and-run fashion. And by the way, I don't want to do local marketing. I heard from somebody on the Warrior Forum that that's like the dumbest way to make money. So therefore, I generalize that, and therefore I don't want to touch it, right? Nor do I want to insert some other worry that sneaks its way in to all of our brains, right? Two things about that. First one, more important than the specific example, is the framework, right? I gave you an example to illustrate a point, but the biggest point is the framework. Applying those first three mechanisms, those components of that push button money framework, that's pretty good, isn't it? It's good to know that. It's good to start approaching things like that. So it's less about the specific example and more about the framework second. And I like to put it this way. I like to speak in blunt terms. Are you required to know how to invent a mobile phone to use one? No. Just because you don't know how exactly electricity works doesn't prevent you from turning a light on, right? You can turn lights on even if you don't know how electricity works. So don't limit yourself to what you see in front of you today. Think about what could happen possibly in the future. And especially if you have a framework like this, it expands the possibilities tremendously. Okay? So what do we talk about? A clear, this is how I get the money objective, with an accuracy to accountability mechanism and turn the knob flexibility. If we stop the webinar right here, and you really actually truly focused on this, meaning you changed your behavior from this day forward and started looking at every opportunity, everything that you were doing during your time that you're spending to try to make money online, and just started really working these three things, damn, you probably quadrupled your chances of finally hitting that number you want to hit, right? Then we add the fourth thing in, a secret. A secret, ooh, right? Question. If everyone is hip to the same approach, what's the problem with that? If everybody knows the way to do something to get the result, what is the issue with that? It's a good question, right? Let me put it another way. If everyone uses the same road to get from point A to point B, then nobody gets there. It doesn't work if everybody does it the same way. It only works, really works, powerfully works, if you do it the way that most people do not do it. And that is true with every single push-button money system that we have analyzed. It had one little tweak, or one little, hey, over here, or one extra oomph to it that made all the difference. What is a secret? Let's define it. The Jason Fladlien definition is this: a key deviation from the way the masses do it that is not easily available, obtainable, and or exploitable. Do you think some people have advantages over other people when it comes to making money online? Of course they do, right? We could say, I hate that that's the way that that works, or we could say, let me do something about it. And say to yourself, if it's true that some people have advantages over other people, How can I be one of those people that has those advantages? And how can you, right? You got to hang around the right people. You got to try certain things in the field and get your own data, right? And you got to constantly be working and improving upon yourself and your approach. This is how you get the secrets, right? Now here's the deal. And this is what freaks people out, and this is why people prevent themselves from doing what I'm talking about here, and it drives me nuts. Secrets today may not be secrets tomorrow. It's very hard over time to hide a secret or a special approach or a shortcut or an advantage. Over time, they will eventually fizzle out. So what most people do is they say, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'll never do one. Wrong answer. Because here's the other side of the coin. There's always secrets. There are always secrets. Why? Because there's always people in any field with any approach who are getting way beyond average results. And every time that happens, it's because they're using a secret or secrets. I'm going to show you a super duper powerful secret in a little bit. And one of the ways that you acquire secrets is by hanging around the right people, right? Which is what we try to do. We always give you a reason to hang out with us because we always feel like we have a very, very powerful secret or approach or new way of doing things, often that we have acquired through experience, either our own or the people that we know, right? And then sometimes I share those with you. Usually after you pay me money, but not always. Not today. I'm going to show you a super duper powerful one here in a little bit. Let's quickly review. A push button money system must contain the following. A clear "this is how I get money" objective. Do you have that right now? And can it be done in a very short period of time to measure it, right? And how do you account for it? How do you know if you are going towards it or going away from it? How is it so obvious if you're going towards it or not going towards it that you just couldn't mess it up? Because it would be so obvious if you're going down the right path, right? Does it have the flexibility in place? Because you can't lock it in. You got to be dynamic enough doing this make money stuff to be able to adapt on the fly. The only people I know who make money that don't adapt, they work at McDonald's. That's about as close as you can get to never having to adapt to anything and following truly a system directly set out without any flexibility and still make money. Unfortunately, it's not a lot of money. And then lastly, what are you doing to acquire these secrets? And then how are you using those secrets?